Recently, I met a guy who I think would like my job. Day like today, I might entertain a reasonable offer, but he's kind of interesting, so I hope you'll stick around to meet him. Welcome to Windows to the Wild. I'm Willem Lang. Today I'm standing at the foot of Spruce Mountain in Plainfield, Vermont, with Scott Ellis, who is kind of a child of nature, would you say?
You could say that. You could definitely say that. I like nature.
Okay. Now, we met recently at a wilderness paddlers gathering over in Fairleigh, Vermont.
Correct.
And I was very impressed with your enthusiasm, and your films were fantastic.
Well, thank
I thought, we've got to get this guy on to show us how to do this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah, they're pretty fun to make, too, those videos. So I'm glad you enjoyed them.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, you know, when things are really bad, you don't shoot much, right? So it always looks like fun.
Yeah, it always looks like it's beautiful weather in the video, right?
Yeah, now your films they're kind of a mixture of entertainment, you know, just being out in the woods, and a little bit of instruction also on how to do it yourself.
Yeah. That's kind of the idea. We want to guide people to the outdoors. So you want to show them that it's fun, and you got to give them the right skills to go out there.
I just picked up an inexpensive painter's clear plastic tarp. I went cheap, and hopefully that was a good choice. And I cut it into a half circle. I did that by using a pen on a string to go all the way around and make a half circle and then cut that out. Now when you bring that together, it should create a perfect cone.
Now on our way up the mountain, we'll play you a few clips of Scott's films, and we'll also talk more about how he does what he does. So I suppose we might as well, if we're going to show them how to climb the mountain.
Yeah, you want to go for a walk?
Not much, but we'll do it. Okay.
I lose track of which hikes I've done. Sometimes every mountain kind of blurs into one. And I thought I had done this one, but it turns out I've never been here before.
Spruce Mountain sits south of Plainfield, Vermont. The trail to it lies mostly within the L.R. Jones State Park, Vermont's first state forest. Today's hike is about a 4.4-mile round trip, and it's classified moderately difficult. Well, how about this? Water running right down the trail. Dogs are permitted on the trail, so Scott brought along Wilhelmina and Baxter.
Baxter, what's this? Oh yeah, what's this? Now you forget about that.
Yeah.
Now you forget about that. Oh yeah. Oh, Baxter. Yes, good boy, Baxter. Good boy.
The weather is a bit fickle, teetering between winter and spring. This looks wet, my friend.
You want a hand, Willem, or you got it?
No. It ain't slippery.
That is some interesting spring hiking right there. Just gotta go right through it.
Scott teaches at a school about an hour away. When he's not in the classroom, he's out here. When did you discover the outdoors?
The outdoors has always been there,
yeah.
And it's been a big part of my life. I think, you know, growing up in Deerfield, I grew up going off rope swings and playing around in the woods,
right.
and you know, summer camp has always been a big part for me as well. Every summer I make that pilgrimage to camp, and that's a great experience for all the youth to go out and
What
learn how
camp do you go
canoe.
to?
I used to go to a camp called Wildwood, which was a Mass Audubon camp, and more recently I've been affiliated with the Aloha Foundation up in Fairleigh, Vermont, which is a great program, and done a lot of good stuff with them as well.
Huh. It might be the teacher in Scott that brings out the filmmaker in him.
Welcome to this segment on portaging.
Buried within each of his adventures is a lesson waiting for an audience.
Now boat's ready to go. It's just time to pick it up and carry it, right? Like take it up to my lap, reach across, up high, right hand underneath the boat. 1, 2, 3, snap. She's up. One thing I found with a camera is if you don't have it out, you're not going to use it.
Yeah.
And so I carved up, I make my own canoe paddles, and I had an extra piece of wood.
Yeah.
And I carved up just this extra nice piece of cedar here. And I made a walking stick that I can put the GoPro right on the end. Now, a lot of times when I'm out there, I don't have a camera crew like you will. I got to do everything myself. We're low budget, guerrilla style shooting. I got to video myself too, which the stick makes it really cool. I can just kind of hold it out. And there you go. I am my own cameraman.
It's a selfie stick.
A selfie, yes, a selfie stick. That is what I'm going to call it from now on, Will, is my selfie stick.
I love it.
But you can get cool angles, like you hold it up on someone, you can get a little shot like that. And one really fun way is I'll put it on the canoe. And if you stick it off the edge of the canoe, and the canoe's here now, the canoe will move with you. Yeah. So when I lean, it will go into the water. Beauty. And then when I lean back up, it will come back out. And you can, and it's waterproof, this little guy. Yeah. So, really cool camera. And what sold me originally is waterproof and indestructible. And I said, that's my style right there. Yes. I need something like that. And got one that said, hey, this could be a really fun little tool for wilderness trips that I go on to make my slideshows a little cooler. Come on, get it out of there. Well, oh, no shoe. I see it. I see the shoe down there. Don't lose it. That's fun.
I feel like I'm birthing a shoe.
Ah, look at that shoe. You talk of a window to the wild. Well, I'm carrying my window right here, and it's a little mini window that we can bring and let the viewers see what we're seeing as we go on our walks in the woods. When you go camping, the equipment and gear you bring can make the difference between a great, comfortable experience and a miserable one. On this trip, I've made a conscious effort to bring primitive, simple clothing and equipment.
Now your films, I've seen several of them. Quite a broad range of topics. I mean, you know, everything from how to poop in the woods to portaging canoes. So you just try to cover the whole outdoor experience? Or
there's a lot to do in the outdoors. Well, you know, there's hiking and canoeing is kind of the basics, but even when you are hiking and canoeing, there's different ways to go about that. You could go for a day hike, or you could hike the whole Appalachian Trail. You could go paddle on your neighborhood pond, or you could go up to Quebec and get lost for a month with your canoe. So, and then when you're out there, there's a lot of pieces that come to it. I think a lot of people don't go on trips into the wilderness because they might be afraid that they don't have the right piece of gear, or they don't know what to do in a certain situation. And I like to try and let people know that they can figure that out. It's not that intimidating.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really where we come from. People actually came from nature, and we forget that sometimes, that we see it as this foreign place that we need to stay away from. But I think it's the place where we're really safe in nature, and it helps me kind of see myself in a way. Yeah. So the first thing I kind of want to do before I even build the whole cave or snow shelters, I want to pack out the initial spot where I'm going to build it from.
If you'd like to know what it's like to sleep in a mound of snow, Scott's made a film about that too.
I used to work for the Boy Scouts, and we would do an overnight trip with these kids who would come up, and we'd help guide them to do a trip. And we would build these quinzees, and we'd do it every weekend for a while. And so by the end of the winter, we had like a quinzee village. You know, we had like 20 of these things all over the place, because each group would make one, and you'd sleep 2 or 3 kids in them. And one night we're up there, and it's so quiet in the quinzee, you can't hear anything, that I would get up every few hours, just poke my head out, and make sure everybody's okay, and there's nobody out crying or anything. So I get out, and I dress up, and I poke my head out, and I hear a snowmobile. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never really seen a snowmobile up here. And he must have followed our tracks up. And he came along at night, this is night, with his lights on. And he saw one of the quinzees, and he thought, this is the greatest jump I've ever seen. Who built this awesome jump out here? And there's kids sleeping in it. And so the guy, and sure enough, he launches off the quinzee
it totally holds. It doesn't collapse at all. It stays strong. And the kids come running out in their boxer shorts in the middle of winter because they're like, whoa, what is that? And the guy sees people, like 2 little kids, run out of his awesome jump he just went off of, and he just hightails it out of there. I'm running after him. And what a little experience those kids had.
Well, they cut that tree out just below the parking lot.
So, Willem, what is it that gets you inspired to go outside? Like, you love the outdoors, right?
Yeah.
People always ask me that. I'm interested in someone like myself that's been out for a while. Why do you go outside?
I don't hike as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I love to get the boats out.
Yeah.
You know, a local pond or reservoir.
Yeah, canoeing is more of a thing now.
Kayaking all of a sudden.
Really?
You're alone. You know, you're in like a canoe where you jump in and out.
Yeah.
But then I tried it. It's nice.
Well, yeah, the more we get people outside, the better it's going to be. I think getting people outside also really heals them, has a healing kind of aspect for the individual. So
Yeah.
the more we get them outside, it's good for them as well as for nature.
As we trudged through the snow and ice near a swamp, Scott spotted an old birch tree and suggested, what else? A tea break.
So, Willem, right here, this is a chaga fungus that grows on birch trees, which is a really cool fungus because Native Americans and in Russia as well, they've always used it as a tea. Tastes a little like coffee, wakes you up a little bit, and has some good medicinal values that go with it. Would you like to try some chaga tea?
No, not really. But if it happens to come along, I might try it. Yeah, but I wouldn't go across the street to do it.
Makes it more bitter. Interesting. So with most tea, here we are, Willem.
Thank you. I hate to act like King George, but could you take a sip first?
Yeah, I'll take some from right here. It is not poisonous. I gave you the nice cup, if you know.
Oh, God bless you. Okay, here's your health. Now, what's it do for you?
All sorts of good things. It helps boost your immune system is the short answer.
Okay.
So if you're feeling a little sick, you could take some of this and you won't catch that cold. It's also proven to show people who are taking chemotherapy treatments that it helps cure some of the symptoms that come with chemotherapy.
That's interesting.
Yeah. There we go.
I recommend that unless you really know what's edible in nature and what's not, you bring along a few of your own tea bags.
Rock climbing is another passion of mine. You can't take any unnecessary risks when you're deep in the wilderness.
Most of Scott's other films show things just about anyone can do.
It's also fun to take the quick way down when you get to the top. Once again, safety is important, so always check the water before you jump.
So you're trying to get people, one, excited about the outdoors, and two, know a little bit about what they're doing when they get out there.
Indeed, indeed.
But without focusing on the need to know everything before you get there.
Well, you want them to feel like they can do it.
Yeah, right.
That they can have the right things and the right knowledge to be able to go out into the wilderness and feel safe. I think that's important. If people feel safe and they're ready to go out there. Now, there's some things that they're on their own when they're out there. You know, people have to make their own choices. But the wilderness is a far safer place than a city in many ways, and people don't realize that. They're all, aren't there bears? You're going to carry a gun when you're out there? And, you know, you don't need a gun. You might need a gun if you're walking down the street in New York City, but you don't need one on top of Spruce Mountain. We'll be fine right here.
Around the next turn, you're in a tiny pond choked with lily pads and snake grass. It's all part of the adventure, and it keeps you wondering what will be around the next bend.
We were talking earlier, you said you think that the GoPro is the modern equivalent of the old-fashioned journal.
Yeah.
That ancient mariners used to write in with the stub of a pencil every night as they lay dying. So this is how you record what you do.
Yeah, right? and I think, you know, your show is a great idea of, you know, the window to the wild. And I kind of came up with a similar idea with a friend one night around a campfire where we said, hey, we love going to the outdoors. We want to inspire people to go to the outdoors. And we also like playing around with video cameras. Can we do both? Can these things work together a little bit? And so we started making videos with the intent of inspiring people to go out, but also, as you said, kind of like a journal. And it's for me as well to look back and remember, and maybe my future children to look back and see what their dad did when he was young, going off into the wilderness and how to portage a canoe, or maybe it is how to poop in the wilderness, because there are certain tricks that work better than others. Yes.
This is looking really nice and comfortable, actually.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of people always think this one's crazy, but you get out in the woods and you forget your toilet paper, right?
I did that once on a canoe trip.
One of the best natural toilet papers is right here.
Yeah.
This stuff, it's like a bidet.
Let's go. We'll go for a walk. We'll go for a walk. Oh, that'll be fun. Yep.
So, Willem, you like this trail? What do you think of this trail so far?
It's a beautiful. It's a Sunday afternoon trail.
Yeah.
Because it's starts out as a road, which we're still on.
Yeah.
And then finally turns right, goes up the hill. Mm-hmm. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Toward the top, it gets to be more of a mountain trail, you know.
But we haven't gotten there yet.
No.
Yeah.
We're assuming we will, of course.
Yeah. And it seems to be a really good trail for dogs, too. It's been listed as one of the top 50 hikes for dogs in Vermont and New Hampshire.
Right? Yeah. Is there a book that says that?
There's a book that says that. Yeah, they claim that to be the truth. So,
so far, these dogs are endorsing it.
Yeah, they like it.
Wilhelmina's starting to exercise a little intelligence there.
Not just running the whole way
That's
up
right.
and down. The younger one still.
He'll bore himself to a stub.
Shall we walk on?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
All right, Will, you want to keep walking? Yes, please. Yeah, here we go.
Well.
What do you think? Can you see in there, Will?
Well, yeah. A couple of chockstones up there.
Oh, yeah.
And just where this thing slumped away from the cliff.
Yeah, nice little fraction right off there.
Yeah.
Covered it up on top.
Yeah.
That's a cool little feature. You want to go in?
Yeah.
Check it out?
Any predictions of earthquakes?
No, I don't think so. Not
Okay.
right now. The dogs have already tested it.
Yeah. That's right. They'd know, wouldn't they?
What do you think yellow icicles taste like?
Not so good. Like sphagnum moss,
Sphagnum moss?
probably. Look at that.
Cool. Cool little cave. It's a fun little treat.
Some feldspar.
Oh, yeah. Feldspar, some quartz. Potassium feldspar looks like.
It is.
Yeah. And a little bit of mica in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then the black stuff.
Biotite.
Biotite, maybe? Yeah, that's probably a good guess. Yeah.
Now, I got to get back down this declivity. KANGIQSUALUJJUAQ. Kanguk Swarujuak. As long as I can spell that, I haven't lost my mind completely. Oh dear. If you hike, especially alone, you might understand what Scott means when he talks about feeling the spirit of nature. We were talking a little bit about the spiritual aspect of being out here. What's that to you?
Yeah, well, the nature is healing to me. When I come out here, the world that we live in today is just so full of distractions that you're bombarded with messages and people calling you, and you got to do this and that, and you got to take care of things at home. And when I get out in nature, especially on a longer trip, all those worries go away.
Immerse yourself in nature. Quietly listen, smell, watch, taste, touch. Nurture your conscience. Protect nature. Defend the garden of your spirit.
The only worry is, hey, am I warm? Do I got a place to sleep tonight? And do I have enough food?
Yep.
And that's what you focus on, or maybe how many miles am I going to do today?
Yeah.
And that, for me, is really cleansing, to just focus on these pure things that are just about the day-to-day of being in the woods. And I think that's what really I find healing. And I want to share that with the world. I want other people to know that feeling, to know what it's like to take away all those distractions that are out there and really just clean yourself for a sec. And nature can be that shower in a way to clean us.
Having fun when you're out on a trip should never be a problem. There are so many great things to do to fill your days. Let me show you some of my favorite fun activities out there.
Part of the appeal of Scott's films is that he tries to keep them fun. I think one of the things that we try to do, you and I both, is to make it seem like fun.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it isn't always fun, you know, like with a little joke or a little irony. That seems to run through your films as well.
Indeed. And, well, it can always be fun. It can always be fun.
Get out. Come on.
And humor is important. You want to draw people in. Yeah. And I think there's lots of cool activities that you can do in the woods. And maybe sometimes people think they can't go because it's going to be boring. But there's lots of cool things. You know, like fly a kite on top of a mountain, right? Jump off a cliff into a deep pool of water if you can, right?
Yeah, send someone else first.
Check the water
in case
first.
It didn't very deep.
Check first. But there's a lot of great fun things to do in the wilderness and in nature. And I think that's a really important thing for people to know as well. That this is a great time. You can have an awesome time out here, and you can do all sorts of great things.
This one can really test your limits of what's possible with excellent teamwork. If the boat ends up capsizing, then no problem. Just swim underneath and hang out under the upside-down boat. It's one of those things everyone should do at least once in their life.
You suppose you'll probably keep this up at least as long as I have, probably.
I hope so. You're a role model in many ways, Willem.
You
still get out here and do these great hikes, and I sure hope I'm still hiking when I'm out at your age up here.
Well, I hope you do. You're only, what, 34 now?
34,
God, you got 50 years ahead of you at least.
I hope so. Maybe more even, right?
Now, wait a minute. Don't get carried away. You'll be 84.
There's 84-year-olds that are still hiking mountains and going out paddling.
Oh, look at here.
Look at this.
Do you see poured concrete?
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that we've made it to the top.
Dare I look up? Holy Toledo.
All right, well, we made it to the top of the mountain. What do you say?
Give me 5.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a bite to eat. What do you say?
Sounds great. Sounds great.
Okay. See if we can find a place to sit down.
Oh, the old tower climb.
On second thought, I'm going to have a little lunch while Scott takes you up the abandoned fire tower.
These towers can be scary.
Been there, done that.
Super nice clear day up here. It is very cold. You come up this fire tower and there's a level where the wind picks up and you can see all the frost up here, and it is very chilly, but worth it for the views. You can see Mount Moosilauke out in this general direction out there at Snowy Peak, makes it stand out. And then if you look around this way, you can actually see the ski slopes of Killington, which is another great mountain of Vermont, and the ski slopes really define that one as its mountain out there. And if you look out west, you can see out into the Adirondacks, and I'm not sure which mountains those are, but there's some nice big ones out there too. So beautiful 360-degree view from up here. The fire tower allows you to get above the trees, and I'm cold. Even my cheeks are cold. It's hard to talk even in this wind. So enjoy it for a moment, a mental picture, a video picture, and we're ready to go back down.
We made it. Just barely. But we're here at the top of Spruce Mountain.
Yeah.
Beautiful view. What a day.
It is.
And not too hot.
Not too hot, especially for April. Yeah.
You know how it is with an April day. When the sun is out and the wind is still, you're 1 month on in the middle of May. But if you so much as dare to speak, a cloud comes over the sunset arch. The wind blows off of a frozen peak, and you're 2 months back in the middle of March. Who wrote that?
I don't know. Who wrote that?
Come on, who else could write it? Robert Frost.
Ah, classic.
Two Tramps
classic.
in Mud Time. Anyway, we've made it, and now we will commence the perilous descent.
Yes, we'll take our time going down.
Yes, that's for sure. I hope we will. And which means we have to bring this to a close. I hate this part of the show, but we do. Thank you so much. Pardon my glove.
Yeah,
for joining us. It's just been terrific.
Thank you for having me. I feel like I'm the honored one here.
We'll do it again somewhere, someday.
Sounds like a great deal.
So we have to say goodbye, which I shall. Goodbye. I'm Willem Lang, and I hope to see you again on Windows to the Wild. All right, let's take a hike. Support for the production of Windows to the Wild has been provided by the Alice J. Reen Charitable Trust, the Fuller Foundation, the Mount Washington Cog Railway, and from viewers like you. Thank you.